traders and investors, welcome back to the Trend Trader channel. So today I want us to look at two alcohol producing companies or beverage companies. So today we'll be looking at Distell Group and also we'll be looking at Ab Inbev. The aim of this video is to look or do chart analysis on both companies, and then at the end of the video we'll also look at SAB Zenzele Kabili, see how SAB Zenzele Kabili has performed since it has listed. It's been full 3 months now. They listed on May 28, 2021. So now we are in September, so 3 months have passed. We have over 90 days. Well, it's about just a little bit above 60 days, because we only have about 20 trading days in a month. But yeah, 3 months have passed. So we want to compare these two alcohol producing companies, Distell Group and Ab Inbev, right? So that's the point of this video for today. And then once again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you enjoy the content of the channel and if you enjoy this video, please click the like function. Okay, so now let's look at Distell Group. We've been trading this stock for a while now. Let's see. So the first entry level of the stock was somewhere around November 2020, when the stock was trading at 90 rand per share. But for some of those people that missed that stock, the stock then retraced, coming back near the breakout level, finding support here near the 200-day moving average. That was somewhere around February 2021. As you can see, that bounce there was supported by some high volume, meaning that there were some buyers that were pushing the price high. Then the price came back to around 100 rand per share, reaching this previous swing high, and then the stock broke above this level. So it broke above this level until it started to consolidate sideways a bit, coming back near the 50-day moving average. So it was not a perfect consolidation, but then somewhere around 120 rand per share, we saw another breakout on the upside. So now this breakout as well was also accompanied by some increasing volume. So since this breakout around May 2021, the stock pushed through, reaching 160, and then at some point it was just trading somewhere around 172 rand per share. But since then it started to consolidate sideways. As you can see there, we have this rectangle that we put in there. So the stock has been consolidating since mid-May until it broke above this level earlier this week. So now during all this price movement, there was an announcement that Heineken is making an offer to buy Distell Group. So now we don't know how far that transaction is going, but we hope that the transaction is going to go through. Well, it will depend on the offer price, because when they made that announcement, Distell Group was trading maybe somewhere around 125, 130 rand per share. So whenever a company wants to buy another company, the best case scenario is that they offer more than the current trading share price. So at this moment, the stock is trading at 178 rand per share. So if Heineken wants to make an offer, they have to give the investors a better offer than 178 rand per share. If, for example, they offer 190 or 200 rand per share, then we expect the share price might jump to reach that level. We saw that with Imperial Group, which was trading around 42 rand per share. The company that wants to buy Imperial Group offered about 66 rand per share or so. The share price on the day of the announcement just jumped all the way to 63 rand per share, covering that 33% premium. So now back to the chart, what we see is that Distell Group is bullish. So like I said, that the level that I was watching was this consolidation between 160 and 173-ish. So now on Monday we saw the stock breaking above this level, It also broke that level with a tiny amount of volume, but there is volume considering that the volume was flat here. Then there was that spike when the price pushed high. So now we are bullish on this stock. What we are expecting is that the share price is going to continue to trade higher. So if you were to buy at this level, you can either have a stop just below the 50-day moving average, or you can have a stop level below this consolidation. And then we are targeting that, or we're anticipating that the share price is going to continue to trade high. So we are happy with this position. I'm bullish on the stock. Right, so that's it for Distell Group. So far so good, everything it moves well despite the unrest in KZN that we saw in previous months. So now let's look at AB Inbev, the parent company that owns or where's SAB Zenzele Kabili shares are. So now if you look at AB Inbev for year 2021, the stock hasn't really done much since the beginning of the year. So the year began somewhere around the 5th of Jan. So basically, if you bought AB Inbev this year, you will be underwater because since the beginning of the year, the share price is just below, you see. So that's where the share price is. It's below the opening price for the year. So for us, we don't have a position on AB Inbev, like I said, because we would have been underwater with the position. But now what I want to point out to you is that we have these lows here, where previously the stock has found support around this level. So around this 850 region or so, or 890, let's just use the recent price 890. It has been finding support, pushing high, finding resistance around 1100 per share, and then pushing further low. So now around, I don't remember exactly when the SAB Zenzele Kabili they said that they will do the listing, but if you look here at May, around May 28, the share price of AB Inbev was just around 1000 rand per share. Then it started to consolidate sideways before giving up somewhere around the end of June, and then it came back crashing to 890 region. Right, so now what we see from this chart, again, like I said, it's back at this resistance level. And then if you look at this bottom here, it tried to move up a bit, then it fell, then again creating something that looks like a double bottom. So it depends on what kind of a trader you are. Personally, I'll wait for AB Inbev to come back above this level before considering to buy the stock. But other people that trade patterns or other kind of price action, they might be tempted to place a trade at this level because that's a double bottom there, and then have a stop anywhere below this, and then I would imagine that it will be targeting a swing high back to this level. There are so many ways to trade the market. There is no right or wrong way to trade it. It's just that as a trader, you have to understand the game that you are playing and play that game consistently so that you can have consistent result. So based on this chart, like I said, I'm waiting for AB Inbev to come back above this level. So I don't have a position on AB Inbev. Ideally, I would like to see the stock coming back and trading further high before I can consider buying the company. Otherwise, at this moment, the stock can continue to trade sideways, or worst case scenario is that the stock can just continue to crash and trade lower. There are so many things that can happen in the market. So every time, if you want to trade in the stock market, you need to formulate a scenario. If the share price does this, this is how I'm going to react. Don't just buy something for the sake of buying or because other people are talking about that particular company. So now, as I mentioned, that I don't have a position here. The stock is just moving sideways, not creating value for a trader. Maybe for investor it's a different story, but for a trader it's not creating value. So I don't have a position here. And also the process of getting SAB Zenzele Kabili, it's just a daunting process. So I don't have SAB Zenzele Kabili shares as well. Even though now on EasyEquities, it's probably a bit easier compared to Computershare. If you missed our video where we were looking at how to buy SAB Zenzele Kabili on Computershare, you can check there. We have a link to that video, but now the SAP shares are available on EasyEquities for those that use EasyEquities. It seems like it's a simpler process on EasyEquities compared to Computershare. So now let's look at the Zenzele Kabili shares and see how they have performed. So now we're just gonna look at the price history. So now if you look at MoneyWeb, you can see that so the shares were supposed to list somewhere around 40 rand or 45 rand per share. So on the day of listing, they just started trading at 45 rand 2 cent. Well, the people who bought at that price, they have made money. So the share price, the low is 45 rand 2 cent, and it went as high as 220 rand per share. So yeah, if you bought around 220 rand per share, you are sitting at a large loss. But if you bought around 45 rand per share, you are sitting at almost 100% profit. I mean, these things happen in life. Sometimes you are a winner, sometimes you are a loser. I mean, you are a loser in terms of the value of your investment. In life, you are still doing great. So yeah, that's how SAB Zenzele Kabili has performed so far. It depends on where you bought the shares. If you bought at 45 rand, you have doubled your money. In fact, at some point you would have grown your money 4 times. But for those guys who bought around 220, I mean, there are so many reasons why people would have bought late. We had to first wait for the previous SAB Zenzele Kabili or SAB Zenzele share owners to first buy as much shares as they want. When they were done, then now the shares were open to everyone. Yeah, and also the brokers, it wasn't easy for everyone to just create an account and buy these shares. So if you're still in the process of buying of opening the account up to the point where your account was approved for you to buy these shares, so it could have led to a delay, meaning that if you still wanted to buy the shares, you would have gotten them at a higher price. Such things happen in life. So yeah, that's it. So now let's look at this. There's not so much we can say about the share price. As you can see that it started trading somewhere around 45 rand, shooting up all the way to yeah, so it started trading here around 45 rand and then shooting all the way to, why am I not being able to draw? Yeah, it started trading around 45 rand per share, then it shot all the way up to 220 rand, and then unfortunately it started to come back crashing, first finding support around 180. Maybe some people were tempted to buy because it parked there a bit, then before crashing again all the way to around 120 per share, and then it went down. The lowest it went to is somewhere around 80 rand per share. So like I said, if Ab Inbev maybe push it comes back to above 1,000 rand per share, we can also see SAB Zenzele Kabili following through. If Ab Inbev continue to grow high, then maybe we can see SAB Zenzele Kabili pushing all the way to back to 220 or even more than that, right? So that is based on technical analysis. We are stock traders, we use price and volume analysis. But just to speak on SAB Zenzele Kabili as a company, not in terms of chart. Like I said previously, this is a BEE share scheme, so it's good in terms of economic transformation. That's the goal for this. Most people who bought SAB Zenzele Kabili, they didn't buy them with an intention to trade. Well, unless if you bought them with an intention to trade, most of them they bought with an intention to hold on to these shares for a long term. They can define long term according to their standards, but it's not something that, I don't think that anyone bought SAB Zenzele Kabili shares just to have them for 3 months, for example. So it's just the beginning. the share price can still go up, it can go lower. No, I'm not going to say that the share price will go up. No, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't predict the future. Anything is possible. But if you bought these shares with an aim of investing in SAB Zenzele Kabili, 3 months is not enough for you to make a decision. Well, obviously, if you're sitting at a loss, if you bought at 220, you could be feeling otherwise, but it's still not that. It's still just the beginning. And like I said, we also have another video where we said on what to expect on SAB Zenzele Kabili. We mentioned that the first BE scheme was that it had a 10-year lock-in period. So even if you wanted to sell, you couldn't sell in the first 10 years. These ones are now tradable on the market. If you want to sell, you can just sell at any time you want. Nobody's going to stop you. And also the first scheme was done under South African breweries. We know that SAB is now bought by Ab Inbev, so it's a different company. It means that fundamentally the business has changed. Yes, they still produce alcohol, but there's new management. They've got different goals. They want to serve a different purpose than the purpose that was served by South African breweries. So there will be changes. That is something that you have to keep in mind. There will be changes. If you bought the stock because you read on the newspaper that somebody, if that they invested 100 rand, it grew to 72,000, and you wanted to replicate that, well, it's possible you can replicate it, but if you can't replicate it, don't be surprised, because now we are talking about 2 different companies. So that's it for today. Like I said, I'm bullish on Distell. It has done remarkably well. I still expect it to continue to shoot from both barrels, to continue to go up, but that upward move can be short-lived depending on the decision that Distell and Heineken and the management takes. But so far so good. And then for Ab Inbev, I'm currently not bearish. I'm just sitting on the side. The stock is not at a point where I would want to buy. I would want to see the stock to come back around 1,000 rand per share. Then it can change my view. Maybe I can be bullish. If maybe I'm bullish, I can make another video of that analysis. And based on the Ab Inbev chart, I'm also sitting on the side on SAB Zenzele Kabili. So I don't have SAB Zenzele Kabili. And just one last thing. Like I said, Ab Inbev, Distell Group are both beverage or alcohol producers. In most sectors, we have more than one company. You look in banking, there are so many banks. You look at property stocks, there are a lot of property stocks, investing, insurance. Just always make sure that you invest in the leading stock within that sector. That's the easiest way of making money. If you go to the banking sector, you've got FNB, Standard Bank, Nedbank, Investec, and a lot of other banks. Don't just, yes, it's nice to buy the company that you like, but it's always best to buy the company that is outperforming or that is performing better in that particular sector, because yes, as much as they're all different businesses, they conduct business differently. But as a stock trader, you are not concerned about the business. You are concerned about the share price, and it's the share price performance that makes a difference in your portfolio. So, as a stock trader, you always want to buy the leader in the sector, not the second best, not the third best. You just want to buy the best. That is why I have Distell Group in the alcohol producing companies. Well, these are not the only 2 alcohol producing companies, but these are the obvious 2. So that is why I have Distell Group. I don't have Ab Inbev. Even in the telecoms, we have Telkom, we have Vodacom, we have MTN, and there are some other companies. You see, because the other companies are sort of irrelevant. MTN has outperformed Vodacom and Telkom. So why would you want to have your money in a company that has underperformed? Because as much as you can come up with stories that Vodacom is a good company, blah blah blah, it means nothing if you didn't put money in your pocket, right? So always make sure that in a sector you buy the leader, not the second best, not the third best. Once again, I would like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and share this video with as many people as possible. So yeah, that's it for today.